Hello and welcome to the MEB Prep 102 course. My name is Jerome and I'll be helping you to successfully navigate through the medical board process. This module, we're going to talk about the MEB forms and the regulations, okay? As an overview, we've talked about the medical retention determination point, the MRDP phase, the forms, the regulations. And now we're in the phase where you have been referred to the Integrated Disability Evaluation System, aka the MED board. The first phase that you will experience then is called the Medical Evaluation Board. And we'll talk a little bit more about the phase in itself, but here we're just introducing slowly some of the forms, things that you should look out for, and the regulations that are associated with those forms. So before we begin, please go ahead and take out the workbook and let's just walk along this process together and review the forms together. So before we begin, it's important that we kind of talk about the MEB phase at a high level review again. The MEB phase is where the medical evaluation board phase is where you are being now evaluated for that referred condition. So if you hurt your ankle or hurt your back and you received profiles for that, and now you have a permanent profile and you're referred to the medical evaluation board, now they're really taking a look at your evidence, your medical records. You know, they're evaluating you. There are two systems that are coming together, the DoD system and the VA system. There's a DoD forms and regulations, and then there's the VA forms and regulations. And that's all that I want you to pick up at this point. All right. So now as we start talking about the MEB forms, we've broken it down by the DoD as well as by the VA. Okay. So the first set of forms that I want to introduce you to is the Commander's Performance and Functional Statement, the Medical Evaluation Board Proceedings. Those are really two heavy-duty forms that we're going to dive a little bit deeper into. On the VA side, there's the Application for Disability Compensation and Related Compensation Benefits. There's the Statement of Supportive Claims, and then there's also the Disability Benefits Questionnaire. So let's first deal with the Commander's Performance and Functional Statement, DA Form 7652. If you want more information about this particular form, the regulation that's applicable to this form is AR 635-40. Now, this Commander's statement is vital. It is extremely important. Now, why? Because when the board gets together and evaluates all of your evidence and medical records and things of that nature, they're going to want to see the commander's statement that says that you can or cannot perform your soldiering tasks or your duties of your assigned MOS, your military occupational specialty. So it's a very key document. It's a very key document that paints a picture for the board coming from your commander. The biggest question is, how do you ensure that your voice and your story is being communicated to the board through the commander? That's where you have to take the information when you update them, keep them abreast of what's going on at all times of your conditions, okay? But this form lays out questions about what you can and can't do. At the bottom of the form, it has a area where the commander can write things about you. Some things can be this particular soldier is no longer able to stand in formation as he's not able to wear the boots, or this particular soldier is no longer able to stand in formation for greater than 5 minutes, as applicable, as to what is listed on his profile. This soldier is not able to participate in the range relative to, or hold a weapon relative to his PTSD. So I spent a lot of time on this because I want you to understand that if you are asked to write or assist the commander or say, hey, can you tell me more about your conditions? Take a look at the profile. Look at what the profile says and make sure you write it relative to your conditions, whatever that is. If you are not able to take, if the medication that you take is making you dizzy and you can't stand in formation, those are the types of things that the board needs to know. But it's on you to really make sure that you communicate that to the commander. Okay. The next form is on the VA side, is the application for disability compensation related compensation benefits form, VA form 21-526. Bottom line up front, this is the form that you will be filling out for filing your VA disability claims, right? You're going to meet with your MSC officer or MSC liaison, and they're going to ask you, hey, what do you want to claim? This is where you write down all of your conditions. Make sure you review your medical records and have someone look over those medical records before you do. You can always talk to a VSO. You can also always talk to me. Now, this is a statement in support of a claim, VA Form 21-4138. This is like that battle buddy statement. This is, where your wife can, or your significant other can write a statement about your condition. So this way the VA, as well as the board, will get even much more information and knowledge of your condition. So it's like a third party view of how this condition impacts you. So for example, I suffer from sleep apnea. My wife has written many letters that states I can't get any sleep because this dude over here is snoring. And then she also mentions how tired I am, specifically in the afternoon, and almost fell asleep, behind the wheel. So these are different things that you should, take a look at in this form to be able to have someone else write a third party. It could be your first line, it could be another battle buddy, but use these forms to do that. The next form is the DBQ, which is on the VA side. Now, what is a DBQ? This document helps the rater, the evaluator, understand the examiner's view of your conditions. So, for example, if I had a left knee issue, the physician will pull up the DBQ from here, the Disability Benefits Questionnaire, and review the questions on there. When was the last time this soldier veteran saw a doctor? When did it happen? When did it occur? How did the injury occur? Are there any medications that you are taking? Things like that. It'll ask all those key questions. Here's a tip for you. Use this to prepare, to help you to prepare for that exam. We'll get more into it down the road, but just want to drop that note. So key tip here for the DBQ, when you finish your exams and you go through the process of the MEB, you're going to receive a bunch of paper. Part of that is going to be a NARSUM, and we'll talk about the narrative summary. But the key meat of this is the actual DBQ exam notes. You want to make sure that the DBQ, that you review the DBQ and make sure it matches your story, your medical story. If it does not match, you need to reach out to your MSC liaison and ask them what are the protocols there to get it fixed. And finally, as you walk through all of the process, the last form that you will receive is the Medical Evaluation Board's proceedings, the DA form 3947. Regulation is AR 635-40. Now, what I would tell you, AR 635-40 has a lot of great information about the MEB proceedings and your rights. So when you get this Medical Evaluation Board's proceeding document, it's going to ask specific questions. It's going to talk about your referred condition and exactly the date of origin, when did this kind of injury occur. Here's the key thing. Did this injury, if you look at 13 diagnosis letter C, incurred while entitled to base pay, yes or no? D, existed prior to service. This is the box that you definitely need to check. This is the box that you definitely need to check. Because if it existed prior to service, if that box is checked yes, so was it permanently aggravated by service? Yes or no, right? So you got to check the information here against your medical story. Okay. So again, as a quick wrap up, all of these forms are going to add value to you. This is a part of the process, but having advanced knowledge on these forms will help you when you get this information to check certain things to make sure that it coincides with your story. So I just introduced these concepts to you, the forms, so this way you are fully prepared for the MEB phase. I'll see you in the next module.